Back here once again. Oh, Jesus. Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. I think the first thing I want to bring up is it's a very short Zelda game. It's very small, which is interesting because the Game Boy Color games, at least from what I played of them, almost felt larger than this. Like, I think this has a very condensed world, but I don't really mind that. Because a lot of the time with open world games, you get into the sort of trap where everything is constantly getting bigger, game worlds are constantly getting larger, and then you end up with something like Just Cause 2, where you have 32,000 kilometers of game world. Or is it no, it's 32 kilometers across, isn't it? I think that's what it is. It's like 32,768 something by something. Yeah, and like, that world is full of stuff to do. But there's also just a lot of empty highways and forest and stuff that doesn't have anything to do. This game, a lot of the NPCs are a lot more important because of the kinstones and whatnot. So I think the world is very small, but it's still filled with enough to do that I don't mind that. It's a very, very chunky game. And I think it would be the one I'd be most interested in doing a randomizer of. Which I was thinking of doing randomizers for some of them after I finish all the Zeldas. Just because those are usually fun. And the little that I've played of one with James was quite funny. Like, Ganon entrusting the protection of one of the goddess orbs in Wind Waker to some bokoblins in one room of the first dungeon. It's pretty good. Yeah, no, like I think the world's good. I like it. It's got the usual Zelda shortcuts through things. It's got fast travel. It's not a slog to get through. It's got a lot of neat side stuff. Because even like, I don't even know what those Gorons did. They did something. And the kinstones allow generic NPCs throughout the game to have more value because, you know, they might open up something cool. They might get you some money that you don't really need, but, you know, buy some potion. Spend it on the few things Nintendo games have you spend money on. But even just like the shop and what it sells seems quite good, and the town market having a variety of things, like bottles with the oh, I should have gotten some of those charms. Should have gone for more bottles, get some charms, test those out. Turn into red Link, purple Link. That'd have been good. That'd have been interesting. Yeah, no, I think it is quite a good game world. I'm a fan of it. And I think even just like the story and the lore of the world itself is quite nice. And as for the story, I actually kind of like it. I like it more than most Zeldas, I think. Because Eslo talking as much as he does helps keep the story very present. And I think it's also really nice to just have a short story that doesn't overstay its welcome. Because a lot of the time Zelda games can kind of get caught up in the Nintendo formula of like, oh, you know, you have 3 intro dungeons, roughly, and then you have like a midpoint, and then you have more dungeons. And Wind Waker has the Triforce Hunt, so that overstays its welcome. Ocarina of Time makes you do 5 fucking dungeons, and then a final boss dungeon. Link to the Past makes you do 8 dungeons after the midpoint. Yeah, like, I think the second half of a Zelda game is usually very it's usually very second half heavy. Where you pass the midpoint and you're like, oh god, there's so much more to go. Meanwhile, what I thought was the midpoint was like 90% of the way through the game. And again, Eslo and the Minish having a much more present role in it helps keep sort of the story and the lore of the world being very involved in a way that I don't think Zelda games usually do. And I really like that. I'm a big fan of that. And even just like, I don't know, the fact that they went back and explained the creation of the Four Sword, very cool. Because I had no idea that's what this game was about. I assumed the Minish Cap was just a game about, yeah, you got a Minish, he's a hat. And you make the Picori sword, that's it. And then just like halfway through, it's like, wait a minute. This is the Four Sword. That is awesome. I really like that. And it manages to do it in such a way that it's not the boringness of, you explained the magic. Like, it's good. And I really like that. And I want to check something. I want to double check what the... Let's see, the wind element. Okay, so it looks like that. And the Four Sword... Where is... I'm trying to find the royal jewels. Okay, those are the Oracle of Seasons jewels, not the ones I'm looking for. Thank you, game. Jewel disambiguation. It's only listing those ones. God damn it, what are they called? Four Swords Red Gem. Force Gem? No. Where's the one I'm looking for? God damn it. Four Swords Red Knight. Red Knight is a character in Four Swords Adventures. Oh my god. Useless website, I swear to god. Four Swords Adventures. Zelda Dungeon. Maybe that website will explain fucking anything. Oh, this page still looks like dog shit. Okay, do you have a picture of the gem? Purple Jewel. Okay, there we go. Jesus Christ. Far too much work. Was this one? Okay, yeah, so they do have the same design. Good. Yeah, so the jewels from Four Swords weren't jewels, they were the elements. And I quite like that. I appreciate the things they chose to explain. And I think they did a really good job with that. I like it. It's very neat. Yeah. Big fun. Quite solid. As for Zelda stories, that's a pretty good one. Characters, I think the game... See, it's that problem of I really like the Wind Waker characters, and they reused so many models for sprites for this game. Where, like, I just already like it because of its charm. But, like, characters... I like the characters. There's not many that are actually present in the game outside of Eslo. Because the Smith doesn't do anything extra. Zelda sits as a statue for most of the game. The King gets possessed. Then you talk to him. That's... Vati's cool, but he doesn't really show up for that much of it. Nice, Max. Always fun to lose because of RNG. But yeah, like, I think for a Zelda game, the characters are good, but Zelda games don't have that much character to begin with. I am surprised by how much Eslo wasn't annoying. Like, he talks a fair bit, but he also gives you useful information. And if you ever forget what you need to do, you can just hit select, and you'll be able to get told, like, we've got to go check out the mark on our map. After we upgrade the sword, back to the sanctuary. And if you don't know what the sanctuary is, you're fucked. You get to run around for a while, but, like, you know, it gives you just enough of a hint to know where you need to go. I appreciate that. So, like, I don't know. For a Zelda game, the characters are good. Zelda games don't have that many characters. And they don't really do that much. They're not that deep. Gameplay-wise, I think this might be the smoothest that 2D Zeldas have ever been. I quite like a lot of the items. And the boss fights were interesting, and I'm glad they made use of the shrinking mechanic as much as they did. And I think just the shrinking mechanic alone is super good for a Zelda game. I think that was a wonderful addition. It was just very, very nice to see. Glad they thought of a good gimmick, because that's what it is. I like the little four-sword Link puzzles were also neat. The bosses were cool. The Vati boss fight was super neat. I like his design. All forms of it, really. Outside of some jank with, like, you know, one of your spectral links getting hit. Yeah, no, definitely, like... Definitely one of the best of the 2D Zeldas so far. I don't know if it... I think if you had the ability to just make more links at any time, and use the links in combat more, I think that'd be really good. But the game also doesn't have the enemy counts of Four Swords Adventures to require that. Because the problem I have with Four Swords Adventures is they're just bite-sized stages. This is a proper full game, but you don't get as much use out of that four-sword mechanic, which... I don't know. I think I would still love to see a full, proper Zelda game of the Four Swords mechanics. Maybe make it so that, like, as time goes on, you can get another link. But then you'd have to pull in the elements again, and then you're just redoing what this game did. So I don't know. I think both games have something I like, but they're not perfect for me. But this one is very fun, and the kinstone thing is very neat, whilst also being mostly optional, which I quite like. I kind of appreciate that sort of centralized design for the side content, because then you're not thinking like, oh man, do I have to bomb a random hole in the floor? Do I have to go hunting spiders at night? No, you have to get kinstones, and then you check people's kinstone fusions. And then the game tells you where they are, and it puts them on your map. So it's not like, oh yeah, you know that one corner of the world? Yeah, go there. There's a thing there now. It's good. I like that. Music-wise, music's quite good. It is unfortunate that this game is on the Game Boy Advance, because the Game Boy Advance has dogshit sound. But, I don't know, songs are good. And for the most part, the audio in this game is quite nice. I think it's only the more sort of demanding Zelda, or not Zelda, Game Boy Advance games that, that lost out on audio because of, like, shared time on the CPU or something. It wasn't, like, a dedicated audio processor. Which is a shame. But, you know, Nintendo gonna Nintendo. And design a system that's crap. Great games on it, though. But yeah, I like the music. I imagine some nice reorchestrations of music would be very nice. Lengthwise, I kind of appreciate how brief it is. I appreciate that it's not like a fucking 10-15 hour Zelda game. I like that it's just bite-sized, get through it quickly, tells a complete story, has good dungeons, has neat mechanics that don't overstay their welcome. I think it's very good. And I'm glad the pacing of it is not just, it's a Link to the Past again. Because they tend to do that with 2D Zeldas. To the point where I think A Link Between Worlds is 2D Zelda again. Or is A Link to the Past again. That one's also called A Link Between Worlds, so it's deliberately evocative of that. The sad thing is, A Link to the Past is almost better named A Link Between Worlds, because you have the Light World and the Dark World. Very weird. Because I want to say that game you go to low rule, as opposed to high rule. Nintendo writing is clever. So, like, I guess it makes sense you go between the worlds of Hyrule and Low Rule, but it's a world of Light World and Dark World. It's the same shit. I think that game's got different mechanics that keep it interesting. I don't know. I've never played it. But yeah, no, I think the length of this game is really good. I think maybe optional dungeons. Maybe that's what this game needs. Because there's not much in the way of big optional content in this game. It's just like, get some books. Well, the book quest you have to do. But like, kinstones, talk to people. Play minigames. There's no color dungeon. There's no like Savage Labyrinth extra floors. There's no town trading quest. There's no big, interesting thing. So I don't know. I do think it's well paced though. It's got a good length. Jank-wise, there's a little bit of jank. Trying to do things like the lily pads and some of the stuff with the boss fights and hitboxes still being jank because it's a 2D game and height doesn't exist still, which drives my blood pressure up. It's fucking annoying. But yeah, no, it's not that janky of a game. Still kind of janky. But like, you know, it's good. DLC, Game Boy Advance game. That doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, all in all, I do think the Minish Cap is a very solid Zelda game. And I appreciate that it is just a smaller game. Not every Zelda game needs to be a big, huge, epic odyssey. You can just have a smaller, shorter game. That briefness can be very, very refreshing. Yeah, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. I like that. It's good. That is quite good. Oh, fuck. Oh, stretching. Yeah, that is another Zelda down. What is the next Zelda I play? Finished the Minish Cap. Oh, it's Twilight Princess time. Sweet. Then Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Good. I'm gonna take that one off, and that one's not canon. So there are 5 games until Tears of the Kingdom. I am not finishing that by the end of the month. Oh well, there's still plenty of time in summer. But yeah. Twilight Princess HD will be the next one. Means I need to look into running that. Maybe I play the original rather than the HD. But I've heard there's some nice changes in the HD. Even if the visuals aren't changed up that much. Either way. I'm going to quickly use the bathroom. I think I'm going to see if Cow still wanted to play Exert a bit. And if she doesn't, then maybe Street Fighter. I'll try and actually play some online and get my shit pushed in. Yeah, so I'll be back in a little bit with some fighting game. Who knows? See you then.